Alright folks, we are back again painting more stuff. So we got Pete here doing some Rage Quit Wire streaming for the Final Round Game Shop. So we started the Zombiecide models yesterday. We're going to try to finish them up today. Like I said, this is kind of more, there's a bunch of them. So this is a Horde faction. We wanted a quick paint scheme. We did this yesterday. Looks really dark right now. We're going to build it up and call it good. So we're going to work on this blue. We're going to add to it. And then we'll go ahead and go from there and keep building it up. So let me just pull up my stream. That way I have it. That way I can see live shot. All right. So, hello there, Jason. So, yep, we're going to go ahead and build it up. We're going to do this Fang first. I'm going to see if it looks okay. If it's too much of a jump, it should be all right, though, as far as building up our dark blue friends here. Oh, yeah, that's going to work out fine. So we're just hitting the high points up. We don't want to just get rid of all. So this is kind of like a dry brush slash layering effect that we're doing to this guy. So we're going to get all the top parts of the muscles, top parts of the head, and just kind of build them up from there. That way when you see him on the table, you can see his head's already kind of starting to stick out more than the rest of his body. Because once he's on the table, you want to see that he's blue. Excuse me. You want to see that he's going to have different layers and depth to him. So yeah, hopefully everybody's doing all right today. Hopefully everybody's doing some painting and getting some of their stuff done. I just dropped off some Malifaux models that I finished up yesterday. So I'm cranking through. I think I'm almost done with everybody else's stuff. So that way I can start painting my own stuff. You're an idiot. You're an idiot sandwich. When I was closing on my house, we went and had, what do we ate something from Panera, right? So anyways, it was something that was kind of dry, and we're sitting there getting ready to close on the house, and I coughed, and the guy kind of looks at me, he's like, allergies? I was like, no. He kind of looks at me a little closer. I was like, we just ate. It's good. I don't have the virus. You're fine. Explain your sickness. It's kind of the world we're in right now where we have to explain our sneezes and coughs. Loki's a cool model. I enjoyed painting Loki a lot. I like his little ice effect on his base too. Loki, the Crisis Protocol guy. I love the lore. Like if you read any of the Nordic kind of lore and mythology, Loki's story is always interesting. Like when Ragnarok comes, he's supposed to be like the one that kind of brings it, riding the back of a giant. It's like, man, that's pretty cool. Alright, so you can already see, I'm going to kind of just put him here because you can already start to see the difference just between layering up that blue, and if I turn him around to where he was, you see it's just kind of dark. And then when we layer it up the way we are, it really kind of starts to build and it looks pretty good. So we're just going to keep on doing that. Like I said, you see where it indents like his muscles and stuff. You want to leave those darkest kind of cracks of the muscles the darker color. That way that's going to pop and show up. Also been having a blast. I was watching The Community last night. Love that show. I don't know why, but I notice when I get to this part of painting, a lot of times I kind of zone in a little bit. And that might be just because it's where you start to get into some of the really cool parts of the models where you really see the detail and you're like, yeah, that's what I was talking about. Abed and Troy in the morning. Yeah, when they put The Community on Netflix, I was like super jazzed. Because The Community is probably, I don't know, it's got to be somewhere up towards like second or third favorite show ever for me. At least as a comedy. Okay, we're getting there. This guy is going to take the longest as far as all this layering stuff goes, because obviously he's the bigger model, and we want to be more decisive on him where these layers and highlights are kind of going. So you're kind of noticing yesterday I was kind of plastering just all the like just the darker layer on him, because obviously that was the first layer, but now we don't want to cover up any of the detail of our darker work. Okay. Are we good? Blue-wise? He's looking pretty good. So, show this off here. So we are really starting to see some of the definition on this dude. So, looks good. And just hit up this part a little bit. And we'll call his skin probably good. Dry brush his face a little bit. Okay. Let's hit that and then we're done there. Okay. Such a gnarly model. It really is cool. Yeah, and I think it depends on what you're going with the game, Jason. So like this game, I'm okay with it being dark because when I was thinking about paint schemes, I was just sitting here like, you know, they're in space, it's going to be darker. The aliens will probably be darker, so let's go that route. So I agree, it definitely depends on kind of your game and what feel you're going for. These little guys, we're just going to kind of do more dry brushing. Still be very purposeful where we're putting this stuff. But we can be a little less careful with it. So we want it in a spot, but if it bleeds into a different part, they're small enough where that shouldn't matter a ton. I'm going to do a lot of dry brushing with these guys on this stage. once again, you don't, especially where you start to see this muscle featured on this dude, you don't want to lose all that. So you really want to be careful not to put too much paint in those areas as you're kind of going along. Okay. This guy's probably about good. Like I said, just make sure you kind of check them out, make sure you got the decent amount of layers done. But as long as you're close, that's kind of what we're looking at there. Yeah, it's the same reason why I like these models, Jason. I love painting aliens, just because you can really get creative with a lot of the colors that you choose to use for them. Like this kind of blue effect is just interesting. You wouldn't be able to do this with like a humanoid kind of game, right? And with these smaller ones, we really are just gonna layer, but also mainly kind of dry brush this stuff on. Like I said, if you're gonna do this paint scheme on these models for detail because you really love it, you're gonna spend more time on than what I'm doing right now, where I'm just kind of hitting the high points and that's it. So just kind of keep that in mind. Like if this was my favorite game ever, I would spend a lot more time on it. But since we just want a general kind of a good looking painted faction, that's going to be more than enough for us. Okay. And just move on to the next guy. Especially since we have so many of these little guys. You really got to find something that's effective and fast. Something that looks good but doesn't take you forever to paint. Because otherwise you will be painting this stuff forever. Like I said, if I actually wanted to, I could probably leave the skin tone at this stage. But I want to get another layer in there just because it looks better. And obviously this is going to be my son's game, so I do want it to look pretty decent. The models that I paint up. Hey, it's Mr. Leopard. Chris, hope you're doing okay. Hope you and the kid are staying entertained while you're locked down. Painting some Zombiecide, which, Chris, I think you've played Zombiecide before, haven't you? Chris plays a lot of different games, mostly a Warm Hordes player, though. Not bad. Okay. Welcome, though. Yeah, this is the special invasion edition of Zombiecide, though, so it's a little different, but I've never played the actual original Zombiecide, so this is going to be my first jump into it. Like I said, doing a quick paint scheme on the little Zerg alien dudes. Because you're going to notice while I'm doing this, I'm going to have a lot of blue on my thumb. Just because when you do this, you don't want a lot of excess paint, because I don't want it to fill where I got my darkest kind of gaps. And you'll also notice that the first surfaces I hit when I'm painting to get some, so I don't totally dry brush at this stage, I do want some paint to fill in, but I'm going to get the majority of it on a surface where it's like, yes, that's where I want my high point to be for that color. So like right now on these arms, I'm hitting the biceps first and the triceps, forearms, and then dry brushing the rest of it. To kind of get that muscle definition on these dudes. Okay, and he's pretty good. Moving on. Ah. This guy's a little tough to do that with though, because he's like all veins and muscles. Tell you what though, I do not miss painting some of these Zerg kind of horde armies, because even like right now after just cranking out these, my hand's kind of like, dude, why are you painting so fast on so many different models? Chill out. Reminds me of painting like Skaven or something, or Tyranids, which I used to do a lot of. Played Nids twice, played Skaven forever. I even did, so we started playing Song of Ice and Fire. The first faction I got into was the Free Folk, and I was like, God, I hate horde armies. I've gotten to that age where I just don't like dealing with that anymore. I can, because obviously I can crank out a crap ton of models, but like I said, I'm just kind of at that point where I'm just like, I don't wanna. I'd rather just have a few really cool looking models. Alright, I think he's okay to call there. This way a little bit. Got 3 more of these dudes on this layer. Alright, get a little sippity sip. You gotta, when you do this speed painting on a horde army, you gotta really chunk it up. Otherwise, it just seems like it's never going to end. And like I said, I'm trying to finish this squad of dudes today. We're gonna see if we can get this many in one sit or 2 sittings. Which I think we can do. And we put our mind to it, this is gonna get knocked out. And we'll be happy with it. And one thing I am gonna do is I am going to do the blue, and then I'm going to do the blue highlights right after this, because I don't, once I'm done with it, I want to be done with it, the skin. So, let's see. Plus, another thing is when you do speed painting like this, it's better to stick with the same color types. So it's good, like if I'm painting all these blues, I want to do all the blues, and then I want to do the next blues. And then once I'm done with that, I can go to the next blue. And then once I'm finally done with all these blues, then we'll go to our other colors. So once I'm done with all this blue, then I'll go to this pink that I got set up here, which looks like purple right now. Not too shabby. Okay, and then we got our last guy here. So, and I just kind of want to point this out because this is already looking. So this is the model that we got kind of to this point, and this is where we left off yesterday after a wash with that dark blue. And you can really start to see just the subtle differences. Like on the board, this is still going to look about black pretty much, and we're starting to build up where it's like, hey, that's a blue guy. So really the difference from what we did yesterday. And then I'll show you the next step after we get done putting it to these guys. On kind of like, okay, now we'll look at the difference between these two blues. Tell you what, these aliens do work out, man. Let me tell you. This guy's flexing here. You know, now that I'm kind of looking at this, I'm kind of like, I almost painted this up like the warriors, the Tau warriors. Their skin tone is very similar in 40k lore, and I just noticed that. I'm like, oh man, this totally looks like a fire warrior without his helmet on. The only difference is they don't have cleft, foots. I don't know why I say foots. But yeah, it totally looks like a fire warrior. It's okay, because it's kind of a cool skin tone. Alright, so we're going to call that good right there. Let's get a little water on that. We're going to then go... Let's see what this blue is going to look like on these dudes. Kind of curious. I don't know what this blue is going to look like on their skin. So let's kind of go on one of the little guys and see what it starts to look like. Okay. It's not much of a difference. It is smoothing the transition a bit. So I think I'm going to use it for the high points and do my last highlights on the model. And take a look at it real quick. Yeah, it does smooth it out a bit. See if we can see the difference on the camera. So this one's the one on this side is the one that I just added to. It is a noticeable difference, and we're going to use it. And like I said, I'm just going to hit it on kind of like these, almost looks like armor or bone carapace kind of look on these models. Just to kind of smooth it out on those parts that look like they're that way. And then we'll go ahead and just say this is going to be a quick just effect. And then we'll do the dry brush on the very high points of these models. Alright, not bad. So I just get those on the higher points. Slowly layering. And that's all it is. It's just the different layers just create depth to the model. It's almost like just where different lights are hitting and kind of different effects of the model. That's too much. Clean it off. Yeah, the parts where it looks like a bone, like I just painted that lighter blue on kind of the shin. And then this last gray blue we're going to use for these kind of veins and spikes and different bits where we really want that to kind of show off. So look, if these guys can work out in space, we can all work out while we're stuck at home. I'm good. Do I want to leave them that way? Sure. Part that's going to look awesome on all these models is going to be the pink when we kind of get working on it. Because that pink's going to be the part of this model where I'm just like, yeah, that's what sets that off. I'm telling y'all, wait till you see it. I already have it in my mind. That's going to be the best part of this model, is going to be that pink. Okay, I think we'll call that probably about good there. And then we got one more little guy, and then we got our big guy. And then we got highlights, and then we're moving on to that pink. Moving right along. One thing you are going to notice is if you dry brush a lot, you are going to mess your brushes up. That's why certain brushes are like my dry brush brushes. Usually the way I do that is the brushes that I have that start to kind of fray a little bit, like you see this brush is kind of starting to fray and it's not a point anymore. That'll become a dry brush when it starts happening like that. Okay, so as you guys kind of get your brushes worn down, don't throw them out. Use them for dry brushing or washes. Alright, we got our big guy. Come here, big guy. Okay. I'll paint the front of this, and I'll turn around in the back, so that way we can see kind of the subtle differences. You might not see it directly because it's not side by side, but I want to at least kind of give you like, yeah, this is kind of where we were and this is where we are. Because I like comparing differences when I paint, because it's good to see like this is what it looked like before and this is what it looks like now. Okay, I think we're almost there in the front. Alright, so, sorry, one more little bit there. Okay. So, after kind of going through it, is what we're looking like now. Okay. As far as the blue skin goes, on the back, that's kind of where we were. So it doesn't look like a lot, but when you turn it over and he starts to pop a little bit more, it's just brighter, right? It's really the only difference is you start to notice it's brighter and we're pulling out. And the thing is, as you brighten it, you also want to pull out more of the detail. Like there's a couple of parts on his arms where he has these veins, right? And I'm being very careful not to hit those up with a color until I dry brush my last color here, which you guys will see here in a minute when I do it, because I'll just go straight to dry brushing this guy. There's a very specific vein right there that you guys can see. I'm starting to build up to it, and then this last level I'm really going to pop that. Because it's really easy to paint over that stuff. That's why I have so much blue on my thumb right now, because I don't want to lose the detail. So a lot of the excess paint is ending up on my finger or in this pot. Cool. I think we're mostly got that. Okay. I think we're mostly good there. Oop, got his leg. You guys won't be able to see this because I gotta kind of go at a weird angle on this. Okay. Alright, but I think we mostly got him where we want him. There'll be little bits that we want to touch up, but generally speaking, I think he's right about where we want him. Alright, so we got the layers done. So once again, you could leave him like this as far as his blue goes, and that's a pretty good looking model. You can tell what he looks like. He's starting to pop on the table, but we're going to go that last step. So do I want to go to that? Do I want to go gray or do I want to go kind of blue? I do want this to kind of be not as bright, so I'm going to try it with this blue first, this gray blue. I'm going to see if I like it. And this is where you want to just get the very... Oh yeah, that'll be fine. I'll get the very high points. This is where you can really start to go in and dry brush. And notice that it is the highest points. It's not going to go everywhere. And I'll show you when we get to some of these veins how they really start to get pulled out. Okay, so there's like a vein right there, and we're just going to kind of hit over all these veins That way the dry brush really kind of focuses on it, and then you just get this really cool kind of muscle effect with all these veins that this gray is starting to pop up. And some people, when they do this painting for like this type of effects, they'll dry brush and highlight all the way up to like a white. Okay. And we're not going to do that. But just showing you guys that people will spend that much time dry brushing. And you can see we got the veins there too. Okay, let's get some of the other highlights up here. And this is going to be a lot easier because we just don't have as much of that with the little guys. I think it might actually even be okay leaving him where he is right now. Get some of the stuff on the back, that trap, and then I think I'm good. I think we're good leaving him that way. Yeah. Cool, cool. Alright, so now we're going to do the same thing for all these little guys. Just getting those highest points that we can. We don't want everything, because if we do it for everything, this is going to come out looking like weirdly white and gray, and we don't want that. Like I said, you still want to keep the stuff you did at the lower levels. Let's have this set up. Okay. See, and that's like all I want to do there. Just like that. Just kind of really get those high points and then move on to the next little dude. And then we'll get to this pink. Cool. Boom diada. I know that wasn't in frame, sorry. Okay, these should go pretty quick. Should go pretty quick. That's why this is a perfect scheme for all this painting, because dry brushing is quick, it's effective, looks decent on the table. We're just going to leave it simple like that. And then once we do that pink, it's just going to pop, and then we'll have a pretty cool effect. Okay. And then we got all our little dudes here. Sorry for quiet. Just kind of, like I said, get kind of zoned in. Dry brushing is just kind of like a quick form of highlighting. So I like it because I don't have to spend as much time. Because when you got to highlight, you sit there and draw this line there, and it just takes time. And when I'm painting like a horde army, it's like, well, why the heck am I spending so much time on this one dude? It's really what you got to ask yourself. Is this one guy really worth it? Sorry, I was just looking at my big guy here, and I'm like, we need to hit that one spot up a little bit more. Okay. You got to be careful when you're painting, because I haven't gotten my brush in the water in a while here, and I'm starting to notice that if I'm not careful, sometimes you can get a kind of a powdery dry brush look. So we're just trying to make sure we don't get that when we get this last guy here. I am going to get a different brush when I do this pink, because it is kind of in an area where we can't be as loosey-goosey with it. Okay. Alright, let's get kind of a group shot here. Like I said, these guys get done. Alright, so we're working on these Zombiecide models. And we got to the point with the zombies that they're starting to get pretty close to being finito here. We're just going to work on this pink, and then we'll be looking pretty good. Obviously we have some green with the big guy, but we'll get to those at the end. We'll just kind of touch that up. So I'm going to go back over with these pinks with this kind of screamer pink. Get a little drink, stretch the old knuckles here. Using a different brush. So we do want a little more detail. Boop, boop, boop. Got the old John Kane on. How the kids doing, John? It's kidding season in the John Kane household. More ways than one. Alright, let's get the big guy. Get out of the way, little dude. Okay, love this pink. A great base for all this pink stuff we're doing. Yeah, this pink's just pretty awesome looking when you're contrasting with what we see with the blues, and that's something you want to think about when you're painting stuff. As I said before, you got your hots and your colds, and when you have a lot of cool colors, that's fine, but you want to contrast it. Pick a warm color, but it should be in a way that it's going to complement what's going on. So like here, with all this painting we're doing with this pink, it's coming out of the blue in a lot of these places, and it's really going to make this model really, really pop. All these models actually, but this guy especially, just because there's so many gnarly tentacles coming out of this dude. Move him around a little bit so we can see what's going on. Yeah, see, because you're starting to see kind of the effects of all this pink stuff. Okay, let's flip them over. Yeah, I can't wait to play this Zombiecide game. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a co-op game. Be good to play when we're stuck in the house for sure. It's always good when you got a game where it's like, okay, we all either win or we all lose, because I have been known to be a bad sport at times. So, good to have games where it's like, okay, we can all work together, defeat the monsters, win the game. Save the cheerleader, save the world. Alright, I think he's got most of the color he needs there. Okay, let's just double check. Got a couple spots we want that brighter. Okay. Got the tax man on. Yep, getting these alien zombies done, Russ. Looking pretty good too. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now with this. So we're gonna, now that we got the big guy done with that pink, we're gonna crank out all these little guys, which won't take as long because there's not as much of it for them. Like this guy's just hit up everything but the highest points, or the lowest points I should say. And then once that's done, move on to the next one. That's it right there, that's all we're doing. Let's get this next guy. This guy does have a decent amount of them. But remember, this is technically just the second layer. We're going to have at least 2 other layers go on top of this. So we do want a decent amount of this down. This is not our dry brushing pink. This is our re-layer it after we washed it pink. Guy's almost like a spaghetti monster. Oh man, don't know what my spring break's going or where it's going. Slowly going away as it always does, and then summer Pete will be here and then that'll be gone too. Old summer Pete. I'm gonna do something with it this year. And then I don't. Okay, I think we're good with this guy. Not bad. It's getting there, getting there, getting there. Now we got our little dread dudes, and then we're done. They got like these zombie dreads. And then we're done with this color, I should say. We're not done. Okay. Can't wait to see how these zombies actually like feel in the game. I wonder if it's just going to be terrifying where these zombies are, I call them zombies, but they're really aliens. Where these aliens are just going to be so terrifying because if we run into too many, they just rip our flesh off. Or if it's going to be like these guys are easy and then this big guy comes crushing in and we die when that happens. You know, zombie lore, there's a lot of ways to go with it. Alright, so we're done with that. Okay, I got my highest pink. I think I need my medium pink. Grab it while we stretch it out. Oh. Okay. So our next layer is going to be this pink horror. Okay. Alright, all the little aliens move that way. Okay. And this is just... Okay, I got something on my brush. That is now on the model. There we go. Okay, so this is kind of where we start to get into, and this isn't a highlight yet, this is kind of just your second layer, or I guess at this point it's our third layer. So, not dry brushing yet, because we want to make sure got layers of this where we want it. This is almost like a salmon. And then our last layer is going to be like this ridiculously bright pink that we're going to dry brush with. Sorry, I know you guys probably didn't see what I was doing right there, but there's a lot of nuances of this model that I'm just trying to pull out. Okay, starting to look cool. Okay, we're on the front of this dude. It is layering, and then it is a little bit of dry brushing. I need this. I need you over there. It's a gnarly looking model, I love it. I'm saying that, but it's probably going to eat my face in the game. Maybe literally. Depends what kind of alien we're talking about here. Okay. And then after this, we got this last highlight of bright pink, and that's kind of done. Up beneath the side of it. Always check your model, because I was about to be like, okay, that's all the pink we need, and then I'm like, oh wait, we got all these tentacles down here that I still gotta kind of work through. Alright, is that all of that? I think we got it. Okay. So, getting there. Okay, so let me get all the little guys once again, and then we'll get the final highlights, and then we got green, and then we're done. So on these little guys, this is going to be dry brushing because there's not as much detail. So we are going to kind of literally just hit this up, pop a couple of those, get his little tentacle beard. And then pretty much call that good. And move on to the next one. Okay, let's get this guy that has also the tentacles. Once again, I know sometimes when you're working around a model, it's tough to kind of show what you're doing on part of it, because you kind of just, at least me, I turn the model a lot, and that can be challenging to show what I'm doing sometimes, but most times I'd say we can kind of show. These are cool though. I do like these kind of aliens. They're just like, they're just gonna grab you and suck your brains out or whatever they do. We do need to wet this down a little bit. So when you dry brush, occasionally you might get your brush so dry that it's really not retaining any of the paint. And if there's not any paint on the brush, you can't dry brush. So you just have to kind of figure out what that point is where it's like, okay, this brush is not taking anything now. Come on, tentacle boy. Let's get you done. With this color. I keep saying done, and then I'm like, with this color. Because obviously he's not done yet. Alright, how are we looking? Alright, I think he's okay with those layers. Okay. Let's get the other tongue lasher here. Got the 2 tongue lashers. Okay. So much paint on my thumb right now. And I'll notice that when I speed paint something, I definitely have more on my thumb. Because when I speed paint, it's a lot more dry brushing. Okay. Looking good. 2 more guys. And we just need the last highlight of this pink. Some of you guys that were on yesterday heard Ty like, why didn't I think of that? It's like, because, you know, I've been painting aliens, and aliens are weird. Aliens you can get kind of weird with your color schemes. Because really, when you see tentacles on, like, an alien, there's really only so many colors that can be right. Alright, and then our last highlight color of the pink is going to be Emperor's Children. And I've done it with this style of pink, where this Emperor's Children isn't even my last highlight slash dry brush. I've done it before where this last bit is going to be highlighted white, and you can really start to get some cool effects in there when you highlight with white, which I might do. I'll see. I'll do it on this big guy probably, but little guys won't get that much love. Yeah, we'll do white highlights with this guy, mainly because you'll be able to see it and it'll actually kind of get the effect I want. But yeah, the other little models, maybe the other big, the guy with lots of tentacles, but missed a lot of pink. Now, that was a quick walk. Of course, your neighborhood's not so big. Okay, let's do that. Yeah, basically getting this big guy done, Jason, and then the little guys will get the last layer of pink here too. I'm excited. Jacob said he taken pre-orders for the new Magic Commander set, so I'm excited for that. Those 5 new sets look a little nutty. I say nutty, I mean pretty good. I mean, what's not to like? There's some of the good old stuff. You also have some new mechanics in the set, like mutation. So that's kind of cool. So he's pre-ordering that stuff, and it looks good. I'm excited for it. Okay, let's get that. Dang, is that time already? Is it getting close to 5? No, it's only 4. Why's my dog barking? Okay. Must be somebody just got done working there. It's like, what is she doing? Okay. Okay. I think we're going to call that good for that layer of pink for him. But as you can see, he's really coming together, doing some popping. I like this model a lot. We'll get the green on him after we do the white on him. We're going to hit all these little guys though. Scoot them across the board. Beep. Anytime I do board game stuff, I don't paint their bases. So these guys' bases just are going to be black. Mm-mm. Old tentacles over here. Okay. Yeah, you can go back and watch it though, Jason, because I mean there aren't a lot of colors I added, but I did layer a lot of different types. Like this is my fourth layer of pink, I think, and then the blue. I think you probably saw most of what I did with the blue. The blue was pretty easy, pretty basic. Okay, do I want, yeah, I want some more there. Okay, I think we might be okay with where we are with this guy. Kind of just gotta judge it when you look at him. Yeah, let's call that good. And these other guys are gonna be easier. Lot less time. Okay. Yeah, I mean, but that's what I tell people all the time. It's like when you paint, you're going to mess up. And that's just part of it. Cool thing about paint is you can always go back over with a different layer. Almost done. We just got to finish up our big guy here after we get this last bit of pink done. And the last guy. Okay. Let's get the white on this guy, and I'm going to use a detail brush because that's going to be the last step there. So we're going to take some white, some regular old white there. Out the way, boys. We might use you too. Okay. So we're just going to add some little too watery. Don't want it that much. Okay. So I literally just want specks where it looks like that pink's going to be a little kind of grosser, fresher. Kind of where the light hits on it. Because this is almost going to make it look like it's kind of gross and wet, is the best way to kind of put it sometimes. Almost like very extreme parts. And we really don't want to put too much there, but we do want to do it a little bit to just kind of once again point out just kind of how gross this is. White is a good highlighter for a pink too. So the white highlights just kind of really top it off. Okay. Get some of this back stuff and then we'll call it good. Sorry, this just takes a little bit more focus. Some of these I'm literally just kind of hitting a line. Okay, I think we're probably good here. Then let's get this green, then we'll be good. Probably not going to dry brush the green. I'm probably just going to kind of leave it the way it is. Just kind of layer it. Alright, let's hit that up. Okay, almost. And it's cool when you get to that point where you're like, yes, I'm almost done. Kind of once again just hitting the high points of all this stuff. I'm going to leave these claws kind of dirty looking. Okay. Alright. I think we're going to call these aliens done. A good mess, a good layer, a little bit of the claws. I kind of like keeping the claws a little dirty. Okay, so we got, let's get that guy right there. Alright, so that's kind of the look we got. So there are another set of guys, Jason. There's actually, I'm going to pull over the next group of guys that I'm going to paint for the aliens. And then there's, like I showed yesterday, there's all these humanoids in the game. I'll pull a few of them over here. So in the game, you not only have the aliens, but you also have humans. So the whole game you're trying to kill all these aliens. So you have some of them that are more armored, you kind of have these civilian looking people. So you're just trying to fight them off. And notice that the aliens are, even the smaller ones, are about the same size as the humans. So some of the stuff, it's really hard to defeat. I haven't played it yet, but I'm going to. Obviously when I'm done with all this stuff, but yeah, it's kind of like a survival kind of game where it's just you versus the environment, and you and other people are trying to survive. So there's a lot of different technology that you got to get in the game. You got to search. Sometimes you got to defend like your oxygen tank. So yeah, just excited to play it. But we're gonna call these aliens done. Yeah, once Ty and I figure out how to play it, Russ, we'll definitely teach you and the boys how to play, and because you can play up to 6 players. Because there's 6 survivors that have to survive against all these aliens. So I'll get kind of this next batch so people can see what we're going to start painting tomorrow. Let's see, here we got. Alright, we'll go with this lot. So we're going to move these aliens out of the way. So I'll steal those tonight. Should probably hear in a little bit. And these zombies I'm going to paint different. Put these guys over here. So you're going to see we got some of the same. There's a couple other different types that we're going to paint too that we haven't painted yet. These are all kind of the dreadlock ones that we've seen. This is the one tentacle one that we painted. This is kind of a newer one. It looks the same as this guy, just a different sculpt. Like he's kind of shouting at people to get off his yard. And then we got more of these. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So this will be the next 10 that I paint. So these guys, maybe I'll do, I don't know, maybe we'll do some red. And we'll kind of go from there. Just kind of switch it up. Maybe some red and, I don't know. Actually, maybe I'll paint these up like this plague color that I like doing. That might be cool. Yeah, so we can definitely easily get 6 for Zombicide and try to defeat all the zombies. And yeah, it is really good. This is a great time to be painting because it was cool yesterday. It's nice and not humid today. Great time to go seal, prime, whatever you need to do for your models. Because I saw somebody had a bad kind of like flake in their primer online, and I was saying the same thing. If you do it during humid times or if you didn't shake your can up well enough, it can cause some real problems for sure. Spread you guys out a little bit more. Yeah, I like the idea of like these humans trying to fight them off. This guy's like, no, as he gets swarmed by all these zombies. Because in the game, I believe the mechanic for this one is there's like a noise factor, kind of like Left 4 Dead, where if you do stuff that makes noise, they move towards the noise. And if they don't, they move towards the nearest thing they can see. So there's a lot of strategy with that because there's weapons that make sound. There's other things you can do in the game that makes a lot of sound. So you just there's going to be a lot of cool mechanics that we're going to mess with. So, but I'm going to leave it there for today. We got our batch of first zombies done and got that done in, I don't know what, 2 days. That's about 2 hours, maybe about 3 hours. We got that batch of zombies done. And let's get one last lineup. Just so we can kind of get a look at it. There we go. Get you little buggers out the way. Boom. Not bad. So there we are. So we got our Zombiecide stuff done. Even the big guy. And yeah, really cool looking game. I'm really excited to kind of get this thing done. So once again, make sure you check out our YouTube channel on Rage Quit Wire. If you like tabletop, try to listen to our podcast. We're on pretty much any podcast engine you search on, you'll be able to find Rage Quit Wire. And yeah, just check us out every day here on Jacob's page on the final round. And yeah, it'll be fun. Like talking with y'all, like painting. Hopefully you guys can see how I crank through so many models just because of the way I paint and the way my style is. But until then, guys, take it easy. We'll see you tomorrow.